Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy podcast Twitch channel. My name is Michael and I'm back with another kind of earlier in the day stream. Also, first time doing this on Wednesday in quite a while. My schedule, as I've mentioned the last couple days, has changed a little bit and I now have more time on Wednesdays. So this will probably become semi-regular. Back with more Dragon Warrior 2. Now, yesterday I did a stream that is not going to get uploaded to YouTube because all I did was just level grind. And I did some of that even before I got on air, trying to get my character up another level or two before I jump back into the main story of the game. Because I'm kind of getting close to the end, and I don't think I'm quite where I need to be to actually be successful. So the plan last couple of days has just been to again level grind. So we're going to do a little bit of that today. I'm actually not super far from leveling my main character. And if I'm able to do that quickly enough, then I might actually get into the actual game and go to the next location. So let's just jump into it. Oh, sorry. Sometimes this happens where this new emulator I'm using, it does some weird things that when I jump to the actual screen, it moves for some reason, the OBS thing. So, all right. So you should be able to see what I'm doing now. So again, I think I'm a little less than 3,000 XP away from leveling my main character. So we're going to just start off by fighting right around here and seeing how quickly we can get that done. If we are able to get that done pretty quickly, then the next, whoops, what am I doing here? There we go. Then the next location is Malroth's Cave, which is where I need to go next. That will then, there's something in there, I don't remember what it's called, that will then allow me to get to the actual end of the game. There's a location that's kind of hidden, and there's an entrance that's hidden. I have to have this item in Malroth's Cave to open up the secret entrance, and then I can get to the final area of the game. Excuse me. I also need to go collect the flying cape, which I'm hoping by this case is done. I thought all you had to do was turn the game off, save and come back in, but it hasn't triggered yet. And I don't know if that's maybe because I'm using the emulator, which is certainly possible, but it's not done yet. So I will check that as well before I head to Malroth's Cave. So not a whole lot honestly has happened in my life since yesterday. But probably the biggest thing that I'd like to talk about today, unless I have some, again, if anybody is watching and wants to chat, please do. I much more enjoy this when I have people to talk to, is I ran another play test of Action 12 Cinema last night, which is that RPG that I'm working on. And it was the first time I have done a play test since the last play test. I know that doesn't make sense, but let me explain. So in the playtest before last night, I actually ran the game with the person that I hired to be my project manager to actually help me get the game ready for publication. And we came up with some pretty drastic changes, not in the mechanics of the game, but the way it's framed. And so last night was the first time I ran it with this new method. And it went really, really well. Everyone had a really good time, but absolutely, I need to go back to the drawing board for a few of the elements of the game for this new presentation to make sure everything kind of fits together. So that's also something I'm going to be doing today, is spending some time, not necessarily starting over, because that's not necessary, but rebuilding with all the elements that I have now. Essentially what it was is the name of the game, again, is called Action 12 Cinema. And the idea behind the game was to create an improv scene generator that would emulate these old action movies I grew up watching as a kid. And not necessarily good ones, but not bad ones either. Like the bad ones that are good, if that makes any sense. So this isn't Star Wars. This isn't Conan. It's like Cole the Conqueror. It's The Last Starfighter. Movies I love, but maybe not the best movies in the world. But what I had done in the way I created the game is it actually was more like a sitcom generator. Like we were leaning into sitcom tropes and basically Lower Decks, the RPG is what I had created, which was great. It did that and did it well, but that's not what it was supposed to do. So in this new version, we have reframed so that we're really pushing towards the action movie tropes. What is it about a stereotypical action movie? What kind of scenes are going to be in those? And so this new version is leaning into that, and then also leaning into a 3-act structure for the game. Where before we played it more like, our cold open, Act 1, commercial break, Act 2, we just kind of naturally were falling into the language of like a TV show. So now I'm trying to get more into the language of that action movie. So you have your inciting incident, and then you have your rising tension, and then you're going to have your ultimate, climax in the third act. So just little changes for how the game is presented to the players, but it causes some restructuring of the different various elements. But I'm very excited. This is the part that's actually fun for me. I really, really enjoy this aspect of creation. I had gotten to the kind of the humdrum part in the older version where I was trying to write out the manual and like, how this game would work and make it like instructional but informative. And that's just not what I'm great at, which is why I hired someone to help me. But this part of it is actually the part I find really fun, is that almost like just pure creation, where right now anything's possible. Whatever idea I have, I'm just going to throw it in, and then we will trim it back later, and hopefully refine it as we go. So that was my evening. I was supposed to do some things today that unfortunately got canceled because my kids' school is terrible at communicating, like just awful. We found out last night about 7 o'clock about a school function today. Good thing I don't work, so I can make time to be there. But yeah, thanks for that a whole lot. And I get it. There's a lot going on. Just this week on Monday, our kids went back to school, in real life, in person. Earlier in the year, they had been virtual. Then the school went to like a hybrid where you could be virtual or you could go in person, and now everyone's in person. There's a lot going on. So yeah, it makes sense that some things have slipped through the crack, but it's also just frustrating. So, but it looks like there's a couple people who are watching, or at least have dropped in for a minute. So hello, welcome. Hopefully you will stick around and hang out with me. I think it makes the show go a lot better when I have people to talk to and I'm not just trying to fill air. But lurking's totally fine. There's no pressure to ever jump in the chat if you can't, don't want to, or whatever. I'm happy to have you here for as long as you are. But what I will say for anyone, if you are someone who regularly checks out my stuff, I'm just playing through an old game I love. I'm not particularly good at it. I don't have any particular insights. I'm not going to make you better at the game, other than maybe showing you what not to do in some cases. So that's not what this is about. This is just me kind of reliving playing some of the games I grew up with and I really enjoyed as a kid. So that is what I'm offering. Nothing more. So I haven't really been keeping up with the experience that I've been getting, but I need to check. Ilani's actually not far from dead, so we need to work on that. But I don't think I'm far either. Again, I was like 2,800 away, and most of these fights I'm getting around 200, so it's like 12, 14 fights somewhere in there. So Alani was poisoned, So you can see the PO where her level indicator normally is. So I got to make sure I always forget that. And then basically, if you're poisoned, if you continue to walk, it will every step you take there'll be damage. So we want to fix that. And Alani has a magical staff that I got earlier that basically is kind of like a fireball, but it will only affect one classification of bad guys. So how they're broken into orcs and Titan trees. So her staff will only affect one of those. So my main character, Kale, is like the pure fighter of the group. He's also the highest level, so he does the most damage from like melee attacks. And for the most part, just about anything I'm fighting right now, he'll be able to take out with one shot. Artho is sort of like maybe like a cleric, if going to D&D terms, has some uh, melee attack and also has some magic. And Alani's more like the pure wizard. But to save magic points, I'm using the staff rather than her innate magic. And then I'm saving the magic points for healing spells. So pretty much anywhere you walk, there's an algorithm in the game on whether or not you'll fight enemies. And certain environmental places have a different uh, randomization. And desert is one of the highest. So if you're just looking to fight, one of the few tips I could pass on is that if you walk in desert, you're more likely to fight things than if you're walking through the plains. I think it goes plains, mountains, desert, and then swamp. But when you walk through swamp, you get injured. In other versions of Dragon Warrior, like at least Dragon Warrior 1, there's certain items you can wear that will keep that from happening, but I don't think this game has them, or if it does, I don't have them. So I don't want to walk in the swamp because then you're just going to get hurt over and over again. So that's why I'm walking in the place that I'm walking. So right there with the Titan tree, did a different type of attack. Rather than lowering my hit points, it lowered my magic points, which is not good. Something I want to pay attention to because I kind of lean heavily on using their magic for healing, but also for the return spell, which will take me wherever I'm at directly back to a save point. So it's very important that I don't run completely out of magic, or or have those characters die, because that's not good. Oop, sounds like we leveled. Kale has been promoted to the next level. Power increased by 3, reaction speed by 4, and 6 hit points, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. Okay, so we're going to return back. Takes you back to the last place that you saved. I'm going to hit the inn, which basically refills all your hit points and your magic points. Costs a little money, but I've actually maxed out my gold right now. You can't get higher than 65,000, 530 or something, whatever that is. So until I find something to spend money on, which I don't even know if there is anything else to spend money on in the game, there's not a whole lot else I can do. All right, so to go up a level again, I need 16,000. That's going to be a while. My second character needs just under 10, and then Lonnie needs almost 13. So I'm going to save the game here. I'm also going to continue, because I am going to at least see if I can get that flying cloth. Because if I can't now, I'm thinking it might have something to do with the emulator, and I may just not be able to get it, because I don't think there's any way to let the game know that I've turned the game off. I don't know, because I am turning it off, vis-a-vis through the emulator. And at least what I read online is that's what you're supposed to do, is just essentially save the game, turn it off, start it back up, and then it will be there. But I've done that twice now. Hasn't happened. The only thing I haven't done is actually like reboot the computer. So that might be the next step if I can't get that to work. I don't know that I really need it. It is a better armor for Alani, who's again the wizard character, is physically the weakest. But she has like the second best armor on right now, so it's not a huge difference. This one doesn't cost anything. It's just like an item. You find a quest item you have to get, and I did the quest, so there's no point in not getting it. But I've already spent the money on the other one, so there's really no, other than like 5 extra points. I think it's not the end of the world if I can't get it. So we're just going to sail up through here, and we're going to visit eventually the town of Thun. Things that put you asleep are bad. We don't like those things. Don't mean to do that. I'm not trying to jump on the land there. These things are known for doing those dance of the jigs that take away my magic points. But otherwise, they're not too difficult in this group because they cast a lot of spells, as you can see, that affect their defense and affect my defense. But they don't do a whole lot of actual attacking. So they're more dangerous when they're grouped with something else that does the attacking for them after they've lowered my defense and increased their own. It does take a little bit longer to take them out, obviously, because when they increase their defense, my attacks do less damage. There it is. That tower you may have seen to the south there is where I went most recently. That's where I got the moon fragment. But the moon fragment is what lets me get to the next stage, the Cave of Malroth. Yeah, there's something with this emulator where it's not recognizing that I've completed something. So, all right, so then we return. We will go ahead and hit the inn and save one more time. And then we'll make at least a tentative run at Malroth's cave just to see what's there. Because I don't think there's any way to save there. Pretty sure there's not. But there might be a closer place to save than here. So that would be helpful to do that, at least. So I know in general terms where this cave is, but not specifically. I know it's north of, I think it's called Zahan. And I know basically how to get to Zahan. I do that by going pretty much straight west from where I'm at. Oh, poison? Yep. So I think I want to go south just a little bit, and then we're going to go west. And we're basically going to circumnavigate the world, as it were, and come around on the other side. And again, this is where I'm like, I kind of know where stuff is. I know it's in that general area, but I don't know exactly where things are in relation to other things. So we may have to just sail around in circles for a little bit. So I thought uh, Zahan was south of that. Okay, so we've actually went too far south. All right. So this is Ostafair Castle. And so I think I want to save my progress here because I believe that the cave I want is not far from this place. So this is probably the closest place to save. All right. So now we have to find Malroth's cave, and I believe that I'm really close to it. I don't know, again, exactly where it is in relation to here, but I'm pretty sure it's close by. And I think it is pretty much just to the west here. So I'm just going to go west and see what I see. All right, apparently I'm wrong because I shouldn't have got there. So let's go up. Let's go south. Let's go south. Excuse me, sorry. I had a sneeze fit there. It's one of those where I felt it was coming on. I was like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And it finally happened. Whew. Okay, so I think I'm going to go south, and then I'll go back east, and kind of work my way back and forth like that. Because as I said, I think I know generally where this place is, but not exactly. All right, so then we'll go back east. Aha, there it is. So it's this cave that I can't currently get to because of these shallows, but I have an item now. Moon fragment. And that changes the tides, so now I can get to the cave. Alrighty. Looks like we got some lava action here. Okay, this looks scary. Fight. Firebane, item, Staff of Thunder, Evil Eyes. That is not good. They're really leaning into this going to sleep thing, aren't they? Ooh, man. This is starting to look scary. So this is why I wanted to level up a couple levels before I went into that cave, is I knew that it was going to be hard, but that was kind of ridiculous. I hope there's someone here that can raise. So it doesn't look like. Well, that's great. So I know there's a town south of here. I should be able to get her revived there. I just realized I also didn't hit the inn while I was there. Jeebus, I just want to get to this other town. So I just recognized that place. It's where you can get an item called the Leaf of the World Tree that brings people back to life. So that basically worked as well. Actually, now that I just see, I think that guy over there was someone that could have done it too. So, yay me. But now I have one. Uh, so if someone dies again in the future, I can revive them without having to come back here. Let me just double check. No. So there isn't a healer there. All right. So let's try one more time. We'll go back to the cave and then we'll just see how far in we get before we die again. There, that's better. So I know it's south of here, and I know it's west of here, but I don't know how far each way. So let's go until we can't see that anymore, and then head south. Head west. Okay. So evil spell, Firebane spell, stop spell, evil eyes item. All right, that was a waste of time. So that one went a little bit better. Whew, 563. That is by far the most experience I've ever got for a single fight. I mean, it's almost just like insulting for that to be a medical hurt. You know, that's what we get at this point in the game. Ah, well, that's new. I've never had that happen before. A trapped chest, and it caused me to lose hit points. It's kind of cool. It just kind of sucks that, like, now's the first time I've ever dealt with it. All right, so I'm not going to go down there yet. Okay, so we got another way down. Okay, another way down. Another way down. I'm getting the feeling that it's not going to matter which one of those I take. But maybe not. Hey, Zumke. It's going pretty well. I got my main character up that other level. So I'm now actually at the Cave of Malroth. First time I walked in here, I got murderated and lost a character. I had to go back and revive him. But this time seems to be going a little bit better. I have no idea where I'm at. Um, but just honestly, I'm probably going to be wrapping up soon. But I might come back and do another one later this afternoon. I'm still playing around with what time I do these now that my schedule has changed a little bit. But it's been good. How are you doing today, sir? Wow. I hear my wife downstairs, like all of a sudden she's talking really loud. Or just maybe where it's been so quiet today without the kids, it just seems loud. Actually, let me. Some of the fights in here have been pretty tough, and I had one where I got like over 560 experience for the fight, which is huge more than I think I've ever gotten before. Yeah, our kids went back Monday. They started in person learning again. They had been, the school had been hybrid for most of this year, but we had kept our kids home anyways, and we did the virtual option of hybrid. And then this week they took that option away. Everyone's back. So far, so good. The schools really haven't seemed to have been a vector for the infection that much. Surprisingly so. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that stays the same. My wife is fully vaccinated, and I have had the first shot. I got my second one next week. So we feel a little bit more comfortable about it. I still would prefer them just to be home, but we weren't going to like switch them to homeschooling. We're not prepared to do that. I would be a terrible teacher to my kids. Yeah, again, I have no idea where I'm at right now. I'm completely lost. Can you hear my wife talking downstairs? Like it seems like it's so loud to me. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not. Okay, good. I mean, she's not saying anything bad. She's not yelling. It just seems like she's just talking. Sounds like to her mom, but it's just maybe it's just the echo or something. But it just seems so loud to me right now that it's she's actually I can't hear her now. So I'm gonna get down this next stairway here, and unless there's something just super exciting on the other side of it, I think I'll just spell teleport out of here, and then come back either later today or tomorrow. And I mean, I'm hoping it won't take me too long to get through this, and then we're at the end game, baby. Just got to get to the last city, which I think it's like a long walk, so it may be something that takes me a couple tries to get there. I may have to do some more level grinding. Um, but I don't think I'm too far away from the end here. Whew, please don't die. Yay, there we go. These are definitely some difficult fights. You earn that experience in here, I guess, which is the good place if I need to level grind a little bit more. This seems to be a good place to do it. Let's go up here, see what we see. And yeah, I think we're just lost. Okay. So there's oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Alrighty. So yeah, I'm just gonna hit the end and then save the game here. And then, like I said, may come back a little bit later today or tomorrow. I probably will be back on regular time tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. And still trying to figure out because there's been like a lot of little projects I've been dealing with at home too. So even though I have all this time, I don't have like all this time. But I'm thinking about maybe doing the painting stuff a couple times a week as well, and all that kind of good stuff. So thank you for stopping in. Thank you for anyone else who was here for a little bit now or in the future, and hopefully we'll see you next time, whenever that will be. Bye bye.